I want you guys to look at this Roshan attempt here at minute 33 by the Dire team. I'm going to be playing it in 1x speed, so this is real, normal Dota. Take a look. Bloodthorns popped, magnetic field on the Visage Birds, which works. It gives Visage Birds bonus attack speed and bonus base damage. The Visage had a Vlad's and an AC, and the Arc Warden has a ton of DPS as well as Bloodthorn. And Roche literally insta-died. So today, we're going to be following Yatoro's Arc Warden. I think Arc Warden is the highest damage per second hero in Dota. And honestly, this game is a great display of how broken this hero can be. At many points throughout the game, Yatoro and his team were down 8 to 10k gold. Didn't matter. They were winning team fights. He was shredding heroes. Literally shredding heroes, even often through BKB. And let's take a look.
Alright, before we get into the main part of the video, I do want to let you guys know that I'm not only posting videos here on YouTube, I also frequently post videos on the website. If you don't know what I'm talking about, almost every single day I'm posting a new video to the Game League website. We're going to teach you guys in depth about how to get to the next level. So if you want to become absolutely broken, click the link down below and sign up.
Now, I'm not going to cover laning too much, but I do want to go over the items in case you guys decide to actually try this, which I will admit, Arc Warden takes quite a bit of micro and requires a few games before you're actually going to feel good. But trust me, the payoff is worth it. So in terms of early items, well, he knew his lane was going to be easy. He's against Doom. Doom is a very low pressure hero in most lanes. And as a result, he's got a very greedy item build. Slippers, 2 circlets, and 3 branches. A lot of stats just so he can trade. At level 1, you take Spark Wraith, and you're going to use this to secure ranged creeps. From there, you're going to take the second point in Flux, and specifically, guys, you want to pick Arc Warden on Dire. And now, I'm going to quickly cover the differences between Radiant and Dire Arc Warden, because I think people just don't know them. So if you have no idea what I'm talking about, Arc Warden has 2 forms, his main form and his Tempest form. The main form, when it comes to Flux, slows the target's movement speed by a higher percentage than the Tempest form. The Tempest form is the Dire form, okay? So if you're on Dire, the regular hero is always the Tempest form. So the Tempest form with Flux does more damage, but slows far less. The Spark Wraith, right? Because I would say this is probably the most important one. If you are on Dire, has half of the activation delay. So the Spark Wraith will come out basically instantly. You essentially cannot dodge it. And that is why it's so much better. It's easier to time when securing creeps, and it's way easier to hit heroes with it. However, it does less damage, but that's okay. It's a better trade-off. So Dire Arc Warden is better, right? The Flux does more damage early on, and the Spark Wraith is easier to use, more reliable. Then, the Dire version of Magnetic Field gives you bonus attack range, of course on range heroes, and bonus attack damage. This is base damage, so it will get amped by things like Vlad's and such. And then the Radiant one gives attack speed and evasion, and that is it. The Dire one does not give evasion. Both bubbles do not give evasion. Only the Radiant one gives evasion and attack speed. So essentially, if you were using the Radiant one, you want to make sure you're using the bubble in a way where it will make melee heroes miss. Right, and that is all you need to know. Those are the differences. It's not necessarily that complicated, but essentially Dire is better than Radiant, right? Which is why I would pick this hero on Dire. I wouldn't say exclusively, as I've seen the hero do fine on Radiant, because frankly, it's just a very good hero that scales well, but I think it's much better on Dire, and a lot of players would agree. Now, in terms of the items, you want to greed as much as you can. And usually I wouldn't recommend this, but Arc Warden is a hero that gets so much value out of the greed that, yeah, you can justify it. You get double Midas. What else is there to say? If you can get the Midas, by the time you hit level 6, you feel good. You also would like to request your support to get out of the lane. Get out of the lane, give me the level 6. And then when you hit a level 6, you get the double Midas. So another thing that's really interesting about Yatoro's Arc Warden compared to the others that I've watched is he takes max bubble. Yeah, at this point, he's got 2 points in bubble level 5. And with Dire, it means that he gets bonus attack range, 150 flat at all levels. And it gives him 40 damage. That's probably the notable thing here. 40 damage. It really is a lot, right? At level 5, it really, really is a lot. So this is, of course, going to be worse, I would say, for overall skirmishing, as Spark Wraith is an incredibly good ability. But I don't know, like, here he makes it look good. They go for a kill attempt on the Doom, right? Doom commits, and now he's hitting for 115 instead of 75. And then if Train walks inside of the bubble, he's hitting for 135, right? And keep in mind, this works on creep hero units, so it works on Spirit Bear and Visage Birds. He actually has Visage on his team, so we will see that come into play. Unfortunately, it's a pub, so they didn't really use it that much, but they use it a couple times. So a couple things to note about optimizing this hero in the early game. is your ulti, you can cast it in front of you, so you'll notice it has a cast range. This is very important. When you're trying to kill people, you should spawn it in front of the person or next to the person, right? So he sees this Phoenix, he's like, okay, I'm gonna try to kill this guy. Basically, when you're killing someone, you button mash. Really, you just button mash. Double Flux, double Spark Wraith, just button mash. I'm not even kidding. Like, that is the best advice I can give. As he nearly lives, the raindrops save the Phoenix there. But okay, another thing to keep in mind, when you hit level 6 and have Midas, you don't need to instantly spawn the second Arc Warden to use your Midas. That is stupid. It will just gain the second charge. There's no rush. There's no rush, okay? The thing you want to do is use it to fight. People will use this just to farm. Honestly, really risky. The main thing you can do on this hero is actually help your team by showing up the fights. For instance, we see a mid dive here, and he TPs in the illusion, micros it very poorly, and then looks for a kill on the gyro, which, unfortunately, due to the fact that he only has level 1 Spark Wraith, which frankly is pretty questionable. I honestly think there's a world where you leave the Flux at level 1. The Flux scales so well, it doubles in damage more, but the Spark Wraith does double in damage just about. And I feel like it's the more consistent of the two abilities, especially when you're on Dire. So personally, I would take the second point in Spark Wraith over the second point in Flux, but whatever. So the next thing that he does that's a little bit different is he uses the bubble to farm. Pretty simple concept, but he's got Maelstrom components. Also note that he has no boots. I wouldn't necessarily recommend this. I feel like the hero does benefit from boots. So, you know, it's just a greedy build. He's obviously trying to max his GPM. Fine, right? You can get away with this. And definitely, it's a good pub build, right? It's a good pub build. You don't need boots. You can skip the boots. But yeah, uses the bubble to farm. Simple. 80 damage? Yeah. It does cost quite a bit of mana. I guess it's better and more mana efficient than spamming Spark Wraiths. Another thing you can do is use the clone to TB to fights. This is very good, right? Because you can continue to farm with your main hero. Yes, if the clone is far away from you, it gets reduced damage. It's half. So you gotta be careful about that. But the nice thing is Javelin doesn't get decreased, so having an item like Maelstrom, or even just Javelin, is actually really good. But yeah, drops the bubble here, and that even gives you a lot of damage, right? Unfortunately, this is the crappy Radiant one, so it gives evasion and attack speed, which isn't that good. I guess there is an argument to be made that Radiant Arc Warden is kind of nice, because if you spawn the Tempest and then send it in, it TPs in with the better spells and the better bubble. So maybe that is the justification for Radiant Arc Warden, and perhaps it's actually better than I think for that reason. Okay, upcoming here is the team fight where this hero blew me away, and I really mean that. Couple of things to note: at level 10, he took health. At level 15, he took magnetic field cooldown, and he's actually taking stats over Spark Wraith. I guess it's fine. You know, if you're gonna just go full YOLO mana build, I can see it. Right, he took the health talent, I can see it, because a lot of people like the Flux cast range. It's very good for fighting. Flux cast range is a little clunky, actually. But okay, this team fight is ridiculous and shows how broken this hero really can be, right? I mean, the damage is just absurd, and there's no other way to put it. So okay, he spawns in the first bubble, which you could argue is early because he didn't have his ulti. Maybe you should wait. Pops his Mjolnir. Very important. The build is Midas, Maelstrom, bots. The reason why bots, you can spawn in your Tempest double and TP it around the map to farm. Personally, I think treads are actually very good, and treads will speed up your Mjolnir timing. You might be like, oh, how is that the case? Because bots help you farm more. Yeah, I mean, there is an argument to be made for that, for sure. But I think the treads, they make you tanky in the early game, they help you fight better. They're worse at connecting to the fights and getting around the map, but I do believe that, you know, the HP in the early game, or just the attack speed in the early game with Maelstrom from treads is very beneficial, even though you already have some from Midas. The more the better with Maelstrom and Maelstrom procs. But okay, spawns the bubble. You could argue it's early, because you do want to spawn both bubbles at the same time, because obviously they work together. Attack speed, attack damage, you love to see it. All right, so he spawns, and you know, this is where he looks like he's in a terrible position. Aim is on his side, the Doom is running him with the BKB, but spawns the illusion, which he should spawn in the bubble. I think he spawns it outside of it, which is definitely not good. If you're using the bubbles, make sure you have both Arc Wardens in both bubbles. And then, yeah, should spawn this bubble faster too. You can see this hero's hard, pros are not perfect at it. He should spawn this bubble immediately. The goal is to get off both bubbles together, right? So he spawns them on top of each other, and then look at this AM meld. The big thing here is look at this Doom meld. This is through BKB, and they have bonus attack range because of the Dire bubble, which just ended, but this guy actually gets evaporated. And you might be like, oh, it's just not a tanky Doom. How is this not a tanky Doom? He has Veil BKB, right? With like 2.2k HP. And then this AM has to get out. He can't man up at all. Unfortunately, when your BKB ends and your bubbles are down, your hero's pretty weak, and that is something you have to keep in mind. The Tempest double is going to be up for a while, but yeah, I think his decision to TP out there was like insanely good too. Understanding, okay, BKB down, bubbles down, Mjolnir ending, right? By the way, guys, Mjolnir active, insane. If you forget to use it, you're losing out on like a huge amount of damage. This clip, so I'm going to play it at 1x speed so you can see the Ogre's health just go away. But this is where the Vlad's Arc Warden combo is really cool because he buys drums AC Vlad's, which all heavily benefit your hero. So this is like, there's so much synergy because then your bubbles also give back to the Visage by giving the birds bonus attack speed and base damage. And the birds do 50 damage, right, at level 12. And you can give them a bonus 100 when you have your 15 talent. So it's like literally a tripling in damage. I mean, it's crazy stuff, obviously, right? Crazy stuff. Now, unfortunately, they don't truly use it together. Like even here, I think his bird doesn't get inside of the bubble because this is the dire one. So kind of a grief, like they should be paying attention to it because it really is like this insane combo. Yeah, it's pretty insane. So a tad unfortunate. But yeah, getting back to this point, he didn't even hit with the main hero. He literally just created the clone, and then this clone has all of the buffs and just destroys Ogre. Like straight up destroys the Ogre. He was afraid of committing there, and the reason why is because this BKB was on cooldown. Now, one thing I will say is your hero gets kited, right? It doesn't have good disable. Flux is a slow, yeah, but it often gets ignored by BKBs and just a variety of different items, right? It's a slow. Slows are bad late game, generally. And so you'll see in this teamfight here, well, first off, Butterfly, Elven Tunic. This is going to help him man up to the AM. Love this set of items here. Another build you can go is like Hurricane Pike. Just depends on your matchups, right? Maybe against like Slark. I guess Butterfly would let you man up to Slark too, so this is like the highest damage build you can go in most games, outside of buying like a Bloodthorn instead, if they lack Dispels. Okay, let's keep going. So, in this clip here, he gets gone on. Things look bad, but fortunately, good Glimmer Cape. I think he gets Glimmered, yeah. Good Glimmer Cape helps keep him alive here. Also, the evasion clearly making a difference. AM really didn't seem to hit him a lot there, because he has plenty of mana. And then, yeah, gets gone on. Once again, could be faster. Hero's hard. It's a lot of buttons. Pops his BKB. Double bubble. Double bubble. Double bubble. And look at this gyro. Look at this gyro. Look at this Ogre. Like, this is through BKB. What is this shit? Like, this guy is extremely tanky. He's 3k HP just evaporated. AM has to blink out. They're losing the game in terms of net worth. Like, his teammates are poor, but he's so farmed. And his hero does way too much damage. And, I mean, the fight just ends. And then buildings, I mean, this is disgusting. Okay, finally we get to see it, right? So this is the dire bubble plus the birds, right? Because you'll notice once he puts the bubble on the birds, 155 on a Visage bird. Visage birds have the lowest base attack time in the game, I think. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're the lowest. Look at the attack speed, 782.22 seconds. These things are shredding. I mean, these buildings literally disappear. Maybe we'll get another example after the glyph here. No, they back out. Unfortunate. I mean, you can see, it's just, this is like the highest damage hero in the game. He's going Orchid next, right? Reason why is the Bloodthorn. Very, very good on this hero. You also kind of have some mana problems if you're spamming your nukes. Not that that's going to be a problem for him. I don't think he's really doing that. He's also taking stats. And level 20, you take Magnetic Field cooldown. This talent is obviously broken. Alright, I hope you guys enjoyed this video about Yatoro's Arc Warden, the highest damage hero in all of Dota, and the 5th highest win rate hero in all of Dota right now, which is pretty crazy. It's up there with the likes of Sand King. Why is Sand King the second highest win rate hero in Dota? I don't know. Maybe because it's a good Shiva's buyer. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one, and I'm out. Peace.
And that's all, but remember, before you leave, come on, before you tune out, subscribe to the Game Leap website, where we are going to help you get to the next rank. If you're stuck, click the link down below, and I'm out. Peace.